Welcome to Introduction to Game Development. This is Computer Science 303 at Missouri State University. My name is Matthew, and this will be the final video for the course where I'll be showing you how to use UDK. You may see new topics covered in this YouTube playlist over time, though any future tutorial videos will not be part of this course at the university. And as always, I give the disclaimer that I am not an expert. So to begin with, let's go ahead and copy over our most recent version of the map. Today, we're going to be working with our deathmatch map that we created last time. So go ahead and copy it, and go into our contents directory. I will paste it, and copy and replace. Closing these, I will go ahead and open the editor now. And here I will go ahead and open our map now. So our deathmatch map right here. I've made a couple changes to it, went ahead and added some materials around. And then I also added a vehicle here for the sake of testing. And then I created this side room here off the very edge of the map. I went ahead and extended it out with a hollow cube brush, painted it with materials, and then also subtracted a section from the top here so we have an entrance from above into the room. And I'll play from here so you can see what's going on. There's our vehicle. Here's our extra room. Everything else is still the same though. And I can jump in, and I can't get out, because it's normal physics in here. And what we're going to do to start off with is actually show you some of the things you can do with volumes, and in particular we're going to make this interior of this room be an underwater area. And before we start working with volumes though, let's go ahead and put a surface to this water area here. So if you go to your content browser in the actor classes, and then under fluid, go to fluid surface actor, Fluid Surface Actor Movable, and go ahead and just take that and drag it out onto the level. And it's got the default material on it. I'll go ahead and drag this down just a little bit. There we go. So now this Fluid Surface Actor can only be seen here in this entrance here to the room. And this Fluid Surface Actor Movable, anytime you intersect with it, it will actually ripple the surface like you're walking through water. Except it doesn't have a material on it, so let's go ahead and make it look like water by finding a material. So if you go to your materials and then search for water, you'll see m_un_liquid_bsp_blue_water02. Select that and drag it out onto your material surface actor movable. So now we have a watery surface here. And now to actually work with volumes on the interior here, let's find our brush. So go to your brush. Here's my brush right here, and I want to make sure I have okay, so it's just a normal brush, and I will move it just a little bit here so it covers this entire volume of this room here. I will use non-uniform scaling for this. So I'll make it a little bit taller, and then I'll make it a little bit fatter. There we go. And then also I'll make it longer so it covers this entire side. So expanding that out. There we go. So now this brush encompasses the entire interior of our underwater room here. And all we have to do to turn this into a water area, go ahead and left click the volumes here, and you'll see the very last option here is UT water volume. Go ahead and select that, and it takes care of everything for us. It'll take care of running out of air, it'll take care of killing off vehicles. If you are running out of air and you come up to the surface of that volume, it'll actually do a sound of an inhalation of breath. It's like your character is actually trying to get his breath back. And so it handles all of those protocols for us. We don't have to worry about it at all. And if we just played from the editor here, we come in, and right away we see the surface of this water. We can come in, we have buoyancy. So we're floating around now. We can actually go down and swim around. And there we go. And so now we can also add what we call post-processing. So using the brush in the exact same spot, we can go to volumes again, and we want a post-process volume. A post-process volume allows us to basically add bloom, add depth of field blur, you can change coloring, you can change a lot of the features here. But first we have to actually get to our brush here where it was. So go to our brush and move it out of the way. So moving that out of the way. And now I will select our post-processing volume in here. So there it is. Now I was able to see mine, just able to click on it. If depending on where your edges line up and everything, you might need to go into wireframe mode to be able to see it precisely and select it. And if you have a hard time with both the water volume and the post-processing volumes being in the same spot, then you can just scoot one over a little bit and you should be fine. But now that I have my post-processing volume selected, I'll go ahead and right-click it. The very first option here, post-process volume properties. And if it's not already opened, you'll see a settings submenu here. Go ahead and click that. Now there are a lot of things you can change here. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not familiar with all of them, nor do I necessarily even see a difference always. But for the purpose of this underwater volume, I know we're going to be able to set the depth of field to be differently so that it can be blurry, more closer up to the player. So I'll go ahead and select this to enable DOF. And then this DOF focus inner radius, right now it's set at 2000, so it's pretty far away before things get blurry for the character in the normal post-process. But we'll go ahead and, or in the normal light processing or image processing. So we'll go ahead and change this to, say, 256. So it'll be much, much closer to the player that he'll actually get a blurred vision. And so as soon as I did that, you'll notice it became blurry in this window. If I leave this volume, it's right back to the normal view again. Come back down into the volume, and everything's blurry again. So that accomplishes our blur effect for being underwater using a post-process volume. And if I go ahead and play from here, here's our water volume. Go through the surface material actor. As soon as I'm inside, I have buoyancy from being underwater, and I have the blur effect from the post-processing volume. And so now I will go ahead and finish that there. Okay. And so one last thing that we might want to do, and actually I'll go ahead and play from here again just to demonstrate for you. We don't have anything that would actually block the player from leaving the boundaries of our level here. So if I hop in this vehicle, I can just keep going up forever and ever and ever and ever. And nothing's there to stop me. If I were to come over to the side, I could actually leave the boundaries altogether. And it just doesn't quite make sense, and you don't really want players to be able to go anywhere possible. So one thing we can do is create a blocking volume that will prevent players from actually moving outside this area. It wouldn't actually be an object they can see, but whenever they encountered it rather, they would just bounce off as if they were colliding off a wall. And so what we want to do is create a hollow brush to create a volume around the level. And so let's go back to our brush here, and I'll right-click to make this hollow. And I'm not exactly sure of the dimensions we should use to cover our entire level. Let's go ahead and set this for 3,000. Oh, it sounds like a little bit higher. 5,000. That looks good. 5,000 and 5,000. And we'll make the wall thickness 64. Sometimes if you're moving really quickly, the wall thickness doesn't quite stop a vehicle. So a narrow wall thickness doesn't really stop a vehicle sometimes, or it can shoot out of a corner sometimes. So making that wall thickness nice and large is a good idea for this kind of volume that we're doing. And so now I will move our brush over. Oh, I selected the wrong thing. So I will move our brush over a little bit, and I will go ahead and enter geometry mode so I can just move individual sides. So I want this edge. There we go. So I'm taking this outside here and the inside side here. Go ahead and drag that out. And then also, so that's most of the area here. We also have the far side. So I'll select over here, get on the inside, select this surface, this inside surface there, and control click the outside surface, and it'll lock up for a moment. There we go. And there's the outside surface. And now we want to drag that out. Oh, I didn't get the inside. So I'll drag that out too. There we go. Drag it out. There we go. Just to the edge. And then likewise for these sides. I'll pause this for just a moment while I get this lined up. And so now you can see I've set up a hollow brush surrounding our entire level here. It's lined up to the sides of our level, so it's not going to cause any trouble. And go to your volumes on the left side here, and choose blocking volume. And so now anything that bumps into this this volume will bounce off of it as if it were like a wall. And just to test this here, I'll go ahead and play from here over by the vehicle. So if I hop in my vehicle now, I fly up, and I'll fly over to the side here. You notice I bounce right off the side, and so I can't actually leave the dimensions of our level now. So that is good to go. And you notice we don't have any error messages here, but let's go ahead and do a full build and make sure your build set is for production quality, because this is going to be the final build we do of the game before we actually create the install. So I'll hit cancel for now. We'll go ahead and build all just to do that now and make sure everything's okay. And I'll pause this. And so everything built just fine, and we'll go ahead and file and save all. And now that our entire map is saved, we'll go ahead and close the UDK editor. And now, to create our file that's going to be used to install the game on anyone's computer, let's go to your UDK install. So I have mine right here. And then our search, we'll go ahead and type in Unreal Frontend. And right away you'll see one of these icons here. It looks like a piece of pie. It says Unreal Frontend. It's in your binaries directory. Go ahead and double click that. And now that we're in here, this top here, this is your toolbar, and this pipeline here is what we're looking at right here. So you'll hit start, it'll do the script compiling if you're using Unreal Script. It'll cook the final packages for the game, and then it'll launch what the final version will be like, and then the package will actually a package of game will actually create the single file that you can then trade around and someone can use to install the game to their computer. If you don't see this icon here, it might say skip across there. Go ahead and click this downward facing arrow here and make sure it says step enabled. So that'll actually create the final package of your game. These profiles here, these are for different setups for if you're going to different platforms. You can create your own profiles as well in case you have a lot of different maps to cook. It might be different in different batches. And so if you wanted to create a new profile, you could just start, like, if you wanted to create a new profile for a version of your game for PC, start with this dm-deck and just right click it and clone, and then you can rename that cloned profile. For now though, let's just go ahead and use this dm-deck, this profile here. And you might have a different map here listed in your maps to cook in this configure window over here. But normally you would see this dm-deck as the default. If it is there, go ahead and select it and remove, and then add, and then choose your DM-our deathmatch map that we just saved a moment ago, so that it's the only one listed here. And then go ahead and you could adjust some of this stuff, but I would not bother with it. There's other things that you can do outside of Unreal Frontend with custom compilers, or if you are familiar with XML, so you can change some of the settings for the readout on the installation window, or there's a program called Scaleform that allows you to adjust the options menu. But for our basic build for our final projects, all you'll need to do is make sure it's dm-deck. You've added your map in here, and you're good to go. Go ahead and hit start, and it will start building, and you'll get this output window here will be presenting text to you, giving update on the status as it's building. And now it's actually launching the game, so you can see what it'll be like. And I'll go ahead and close this for now. And you'll see right here, this is in the package game part of the pipeline here. There's the game long name and the game name, so you can name it whatever you like. I'm going to name ours our deathmatch game, and the game name will be our DM game. And we'll go ahead and package the game. It's going to actually create the file. So all pipeline steps completed successfully. We can close front end now. And if you go to your UDK install now, you should see this file right here, UDK install-our DM game. This file does not require anything else. It has everything for your level already there. If you want to give the game to someone else, this is the only file you have to give them. And so I have it here on my desktop, and we can actually just install it right away. So it has the end user license agreement. This chooses where you want to install it, so I will install it to my programs folder, and I'll create a new folder called UDK games. Say OK, and install. So it is installing just as if I were installing any other game that I might have purchased at a store or downloaded or received from a friend. This is essentially exactly what you'll be doing to put together the final project that you will be turning in. And when you demonstrate it in class, you'll need to be able to actually just use this one file to install it on the computer before you go. So it's adding shortcuts to the start menu. I'll go ahead and deselect this launch. So now if I go to our start menu here, and it'll be in your programs, but I'll go ahead and, so here's our deathmatch game, and this is how anyone else might see it. If they have other maps installed on their computer, it'll also show up in here. But as you can see, game mode, deathmatch, map, here's our deathmatch, and start game. And that's all you need to do. So exit, and that is how you actually create your final version of the game. And so I'll let you use the rest of this lab session to work on your final projects. And if you stay tuned to the YouTube playlist, then I will see you again.